Welcome to Ellie Goldsmith's Unity Flow podcast. We've had a little break in terms of posting direct classes here, other than what we've been doing in our Emuna as Our Future podcast with Rav Shalom Morish in our studio. Thank God it's been very inspiring there. We had Yosef Daniel, we had Soulful Money, which we're doing again tonight, part 2, and how to be rich in terms of rich in Emuna, rich in real success, lasting success. And we also had with Davido Weinberg last week, so we've had, and also in between Yoni Gabali on soulful music, soulful Torah, soulful money. This has been the focus, and we appreciate Lira Mazur, who inspired us with the soulful money idea, and that's sort of inspired all the other concepts of being more soulful in all these different aspects of learning Torah, spirituality, and music, spiritualizing music. So this past Shabbos, I had the blessing of being with Nissim Black at a Shabbaton, and we were discussing this concept of communication to the world, keeping it universal. And it's definitely a challenge because the concepts of unity and united souls, my book, I've been writing about this concept as well. It definitely gives us what to think about and strategize and work through as a team and as friends and as soul brothers. And this is something which, Rav Orish himself is an example. Obviously he's the rabbi of Nissim Black, and he himself, when it's something which is forbidden, Api Torah, which according to the Torah, the Shulchan Aruch, then as much as you want to be universal with Emuna and the concepts we're teaching, but you can't say something that is forbidden is permitted, and that's only something that Mashiach or Hashem can do in the right time and in the right way. So we don't do that to say things that are forbidden are permitted, and that's where there's certain drawing of the line when it comes to the truth and values and goals and things that we've spoken about here in our Unity Flow. And that's something which can become, unfortunately, in the world, the way the world takes it, can then be a very sticky form of communication, because you don't want to make a big controversy, even though that draws a lot of attention. At the same time, you want to stand up for the truth and not, twist the truth for the sake of just, appeasing people. You have to be able to be truthful. And I think that will be the flow of this Unity Flow today, our podcast, and why it's important that, I just, as much as I'm enjoying posting the Emuna classes here, I wanted to just discuss, for the United Souls book and the UnityInspiresProjects, how we're going to go ahead in terms of, as a team with friends like Nissim and other people that I work with, and my own focus on unity. To at a certain point, there has to be a choice, like a person has to choose in terms of, this is what Nissim said. So, me personally, I still feel that once you choose in terms of politically, like left or right, or, in terms of values, and you make a big statement out of it, then there is a certain isolation that can happen from people that otherwise would have listened and could have grown and gained. And I think that is a price, that's one of the reasons why, we just mentioned in a previous class of my own classes, which I think I also post here in our Emuna classes, that we had Rabbi Sachs, who passed away, and he was someone who was very universal, Rabbi Lloyd Sachs, and he was able to talk to everyone and hopefully remain non-political. Fine, there were definitely people who opposed him in certain sectors of the religious world or whatever, but bottom line is he was able to be a universal voice, and he stayed away from the political conversation as much as I am aware of. And I think that that's something in itself which is a skill set that he had, and a certain specialness of his soul, that he was able to unite people in an unbelievable way through such amazing forms of communication. That, for example, the TED Talks becoming more that was obviously massively watched, like in the millions. And when we come back to Nissim Black, for example, who's now a music star and also a spokesperson, he telling his story and his journey. And this Shabbos we had a Shabbaton with Yeshiva Bochum, and he was able to speak with the students there and Reisha and really communicate a lot of important values and development, and it really made a difference. So what I'm saying in that context is he was able to communicate to the new generation coming up, and that in itself is part of the universal message we're working on here, that it should be relatable and understandable by all, as many demographics as possible, because if we're talking about unity, that's something which includes everybody. We're all souls. And so one of the people at the table was one of the important team members and a big partner by Nissim. He was mentioning that but what about if the root is bad, meaning like the person talking to you has roots that are rooted in falsehood, like the Reform movement, or so I don't want to go into too many different, but the concepts. I mean, I grew up with that. I went to the Reform shul and I saw just things that just weren't true. It was a contradiction, and they'd taken parts out of the holy books, and Judaism had basically been abused in a way to how, I don't like talking negatively, but that was what I saw in my own eyes, and it put me off very much any connection, and it was very confused look of religion. It wasn't really engaging in it in a truthful way, but rather in a more emotional, what works for you kind of way, and that doesn't that's not really standing the test of time, as we know the results of that. But basically, without getting going on and on about that, or say you have an atheist, someone who doesn't believe in God at all, and the unity concepts, maybe you can explain it scientifically, but like Rabbi Sachs tried to do with Richard Dawkins, this kind of people. So what do you do when this is the experience? So the concept that I wanted to bring out is that, once again, in the United Souls book, underneath all the the theories and mindset that these people are coming at you with, there's a deeper level called the soul level, and everyone has it, otherwise it wouldn't exist. Like, even to go so far as to say that Hitler, Machshamo, may his name be erased, he had on some level some form of soul that kept him alive in this world. And one of the things was, if you read his book Mein Kampf, you see over there like how he understood the importance of the Jewish people in terms of the consciousness of mankind, and how much he wanted to wipe that out, wanted to remove that pain revelation that the soul and the consciousness brings out. So he, even though he was an enemy of the soul and his name should be blotted out for all of history, but at the same time, underneath that and in his books were warnings and messages that we need to become more soulful, that we need to be more united as souls, and less caught up with our business agendas, political agendas, less caught up with our organisation or team agendas, whatever it is, and to understand that there's a soul level that binds us all, and that will actually heal us all, and not be a source of pain like he thought mistakenly, but actually be the source of all our salvations, because the soul level connects us to our Creator, which binds all of creation, and all the plentifulness and bountifulness, all the economic problems that people talk about, and global climate change, and all this kind of stuff that people go on and on about Tikkun Olam. Really, if you understand from the soul level, then people themselves will be empowered from the soul to do the right thing, so then the world will come to its proper place and proper tikkun. It won't be something which has to be done or forced upon by a government or whatever other ways that are out there. It can come from within each personality, understanding what their soul mission is, what their purpose is, allowing each person in the world to have their divine abundance, and not to be jealous or desire other people's things, or all these things that cause so much problem and pain, and to not be ego-centered, but to be soul-centered. And this kind of fixing of the mankind of humanity to a more spiritual state and more soulful, selfless state will in itself transform all the different political discussions and all the different controversies into a whole different level. So that would be personally like what I'm writing about, my United Souls book, what this podcast is about, all the projects we're doing, with the Emuna Classes. We've got Emuna Tour. We're going to be doing, please God, like I said, Soulful Money tonight again, and we're going to have a third part of that as well. And we're going to go ahead with Chazaq. We're going to do a nice Chanukah every night. Please God, have a recording. And also we have Toronto. where we're doing a special 2-day dedication to their community, where we can have a class and meet with the people there through online resources, through our studio in Yerushalayim, in Jerusalem. We can communicate to the world, and this is part of the fixing up of what's gone on with the Corona Challenge. And for example, we also have Thank You Hashem, another organization where we can start to really reach out to the New York community and do some positive projects there, and keeping it on a global level as well, and keep supporting my friend Nissim with his Chanukah Tour that's coming up. Please God, we're already getting the foundations laid. We have a Thanksgiving booking this week, and like I said, we just had a beautiful Shabbos together as a team, and there's a very good manager who's been involved, and hopefully we'll be doing more and more together with the coming months ahead as slowly things start to ease up. That's my hope, and my real prayer is for everyone to just get more soulful with Hanukkah, with getting into the light of Hanukkah, understanding that it's a time to spiritualize your home, your heart, to get more soulful, and understand just by looking at the holy candles of Hanukkah, there's a tremendous empowering of that part of our being, and it comes as a gift. It's matnas chinam. That's Hanukkah is also is chinam. It's like bechinam. It's free gift from our spiritual realms to empower our soul more. So we should get that kind of encouragement, take it with us into our daily life. And please God, I'll be putting out my book, and my United Souls collaboration album is starting to come together. We're getting a few more people sending songs. We'd like to get more. It's just a matter, probably it'll be after Hanukkah, because personally, just to end off this class, I'll be making a wedding next week and a bar mitzvah the following week. So I'm going to be very busy. So the chances of me posting here are unlikely until Hanukkah maybe. And also we have the Relationship Flow podcast, which I'm going to put it on hold as well. You're welcome to go listen to the last 5 classes, been on intimacy. If anyone has any questions, need a bit more viewage over there, I'll put the links below here. And please God, in Hanukkah time will be a renewal of my podcast, my collaboration album, the book. I'm going to keep writing, no matter what. Like last night I was writing it at 3:34 in the morning just to make sure I did that page or that paragraph a day, trying to keep discipline with that. And all these projects should come together to bring us a beautiful Hanukkah and a beautiful experience of soul and unity in the world. Let me hear your unity flow, and thanks for listening. Please share on.